how is everyone's day going? I hope that you are all off to a wonderful, fantastic start to your week. My start is going pretty good. Can't complain. So I hope your guys' is as well. If this is your first time here, hi, my name is Carrington. Not your first time here, hi, welcome back. We enjoy all things makeup, talking about new makeup, old makeup, project pan, eyeshadow palettes, beauty everywhere. Beauty, rocking everywhere. Whatever. Anyways, then definitely go ahead, hit that subscribe button, click the little bell to be notified of all my future uploads, and let's go ahead and let's dive on into today's video. It's monthly roundup time. So I'm going to talk about the products that I had used in February 2022 that didn't necessarily make the favorites and fails list. So I'm just going to kind of let you know where my thoughts are on them thus far, why they might not be a favorite, why they might not be a fail, things like that. So we'll definitely talk about those. There will be no palettes in here. I do have a palette ranking video where I rank all the palettes I tried last month from top to bottom. So we don't need to, like, you know, beat a dead unicorn. We can just, you know, keep going. So yeah, let's go ahead. Let's start diving in to skincare. So first things in the skincare, we have the CeraVe Resurfacing Retinol Serum with 3 essential ceramides, licorice root, and niacinamide, encapsulated retinol. So I've used this, you know, a few good times. I only use retinol usually 2 times a week, but my dermatologist was like, well, let's try increasing it to 3 times a week, and now my face is pissed. It is burning. I don't think it has anything to do with like this one because I've also used like my regular retinol that I've been using for a while. No, my skin is like, you fucked up. Like, you messed up. So now I'm like, okay, maybe we just scale back a little bit on the retinol, but I really do need to like focus on just using this one instead of also the one that's already open in my bathroom. I kind of switched back and forth. So this one, you know, I can't necessarily say it's like amazing. I will say it's really good for like the drugstore price. Like, it's, you know, it's 1 fluid ounce. I want to say it was like $15. I got it on sale. So like CeraVe frequently goes on sale at Ulta. So just keep your eyes open. But overall, I think that it's decent so far. Last thing in the monthly roundup, I wanted this to be a favorite. Like, I desperately wish this was a favorite. It is not, but I wish it was. That is the Derma Ultra Hydrating Dewy Skin Serum with Hyaluronic Acid, Squalene, and green tea. It's instantly luminous and it helps moisturize and give you a glow. It does do all those things. It does give a really nice glow. And honestly, if it wasn't for this one thing, this would have been a favorite. But because of this one thing, it just made it to like middle of the mark, but it's not terrible. Like, the smell is terrible. I'm going to put it in a fail category, but it does what it says. But the smell of this is awful. It is terrible. I can't even begin to explain to you the smell of this. I don't know. It's like penicillin. It sounds like penicillin, kind of. I don't know. But, I mean, it does provide that luminous moisturizing glow, as it says. Love that for my face. Love that for my skin. I cannot deal with the scent. And the scent, so it lingers for like a good amount of time. It really does. It smells like old moldy penicillin, whatever. It just smells awful. It does not smell good, but like that glow and shine, so good. You can brave and withstand a terrible smell. I think you'll really like this. But I will say I have that Dewy Glow Serum from Juvia's place that doesn't have that terrible scent and gives me a very similar effect. So I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. Next, we're going to move on into some complexion products. This is going to be some foundations, tinted moisturizers, so on and so forth. The first up is the Say Lip Tint Broad Spectrum SPF 35 Tinted Moisturizer. I think this is a pretty good tinted moisturizer. I will say, though, that it just doesn't really provide a whole lot of coverage. And I know it's like a tinted moisturizer, so, you know, I can't really fault it for that. It's definitely super yellow for, you know, the shade that I had gotten, which is supposed to be for, like, you know, pinkish undertones, but whatever. But overall, I think like this is really decent. I prefer something that does have like a little bit more coverage, but if you are looking for like a slip tint or like a tinted type of moisturizer, I think this is a great option. I just personally would prefer just slightly a little bit more coverage, and it doesn't even have to be everywhere. Like honestly, just right here where my redness is, I just prefer that. And so like I tried building it up and it just didn't build up to like a very good like medium type coverage. So for me, you know, I would definitely have, like, I would use this for like a no makeup day, and like on days when I would need more coverage. If I just had this, like I was going somewhere and I just took this with me thinking I wasn't really going to do anything huge and glamorous, and then it's like, oh, we're gonna go out to eat at, I don't know, steak place or whatever, I don't know. I would then need to add like some concealer or some coverage to that redness, but overall it's really good. The next one is the Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Tint. You know, this is decent. It's definitely more like skin-like. And so I did find that like it could look potentially heavy in this area up here as well. So I did have to be like slightly careful when going in with product here. I noticed I did better starting out with like the product mostly back here and then working it forward. I found like that was fine. The one thing that like is weird to me about this is like it says it's 0.95 ounces, but it just doesn't feel like there's a lot of product in here. And this is kind of expensive. And this just isn't like for like a broad spectrum, like SPF or like a tint or something. I kind of want something to be a little bit more glowy and not necessarily super skin-like. So this one's like okay, you know, it does provide coverage. It does have a skin-like finish, which would be good for those with like more oily skin, but me being more dry, I definitely just want something a little bit more glowy if I'm going to reach into like a tint. The last foundation to talk about is Nars. This is the Light Reflecting Foundation. I think it's really like beautiful. It's definitely very liquidy, like as I'm sitting here shaking it. Like, I don't know if you guys can hear that, like the liquidness of it. I do say that this does really provide some really nice, beautiful coverage. But I do think that it can look very heavy on my skin. I really have to prep my skin very, very well with very, very dewy and hydrating products. I think that like on the packaging, you know, it did state it was made for more like combo leaning oily skin, which is nothing that like my skin is like. My skin is very dry, but I do really like the amount of coverage that it gives, and I do like it whenever I do really, really prep my skin for that hydration. But here's the thing, like this isn't one where I would necessarily travel with this, just because again, I really have to prep and prime my skin, and I don't want to have to sit there and take like 58 million primers and take 58 million moisturizers and skincare products and things like that when I'm traveling. So this is definitely one of those where I really like it if I have the ability to just like really make sure my skin is exfoliated and hydrated and dewy on underneath, and you know, go in very lightly with the foundation and then build up in this, you know, it's a little bit more time consuming. It's not one where I can just be like beep, 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 and be done. So it's not a bad foundation, and I think it would be really, really good for those that are the more combo or the more oily. I think that would be great. But as for me, for something that's like really, really dry, it's not necessarily my favorite, but I can get it to work and make it look really beautiful. All right, so then we have some cream products. The first up is this Danessa Myricks Contour Balm. I think this is really nice. I think it's a really nice color, especially for my skin tone. This is in light 1. I think it does, you know, a great job. I think the issue that I have is that you really have to like, it just feels really tough at first. And you really have to just like take your time warming up the whole entire product. You can't just go in with a brush or a sponge. You do have to warm it up. Now that it's warmed up, I would be able to go in with like a brush or a sponge, but there's already so much on my finger at that point that you like, I don't know, it just feels like it's kind of pointless to go in with your finger if you're trying to use a brush or a sponge. But at the same time, like you can't just go like directly into the balm with just a brush or a sponge, or it's really hard to like pick up and distribute evenly. So it's just like, but I think it's really, really beautiful. Like I think it's a really good cream product. It's just trying to get the product on that's my issue. Okay, so next up we have these cream blushes from Colored Rain. This was part of the Botanical collection. We have a darker shade and we have a lighter shade. I think that these are absolutely beautiful. I don't think that they're like necessarily like my favorite, especially in terms of like color wise, things like that, but they perform really, really well. They are definitely really pigmented, so you don't need a lot. You can definitely just like take a little bit at a time and build up if you need to, especially if you're as fair as me. So, you know, the fact is like I can easily go overboard is why, you know, they're not necessarily a favorite, but they're not a fail because these aren't bad. Like these are really good cream blushes. I would think if you had like deeper skin than me, which most people do, or you do like self-tan or something like that, I think that you would really enjoy these. They're really nice, very creamy, easy to pick up on like a sponge or a brush. I have no issues with these at all. They're super, super beautiful. So definitely like these. It's just really easy to go overboard. On the opposite end of the spectrum is this from Beauty Blender. This one's definitely very like light. It definitely does take like some building up for me specifically. Also, this packaging is not near as nice. It's like as like the Colored Rain, and it's more expensive than the Colored Rain. Like that's the part that like cracks me up, is like it's super hard to like open. It just feels really lightweight, cheap. But you know, as you can tell, definitely just like really, really light. Disappears. So just like the opposite end, it's really good, especially if you want something really like nice and light, like you just like dab all over like your face. I think this would be great for that, but it's just like not as pigmented, and I just don't care for the packaging, like how cheap the packaging feels. Okay, back to Danessa Myricks. She came out with these. They're like lip and cheeks, and I think they're really nice, and I think they are beautiful. Again, you gotta really warm up the creaminess of them, but it's very nice, very pigmented, looks beautiful. The one thing I don't like about this palette specifically is this shade right here gets like so goopy, and it's just literally that shade of all the shades. Like this one's probably like my favorite in terms of like colors that I have, but that one is just so goopy. But the rest of them are beautiful. You do have to warm them up. This one is just like really, really deep. I wouldn't really potentially use this a ton, but I think it's really beautiful, and I don't have, none of these shades have like that goopy issue that like this one does. But overall, I will say like they are nice. They do add some really beautiful dew to the skin. Really makes it look healthy. I feel like these are best used, however, not underneath powder. I feel like these are definitely ones where you have like a really nice bronzer, the blush, and like maybe like a glowy highlight, or just, you know, just like a dewy bronzer, contour, whatever, and these without a highlighter, I think those are fine. I just kind of feel like whenever I put powder on top of it, it really starts to kind of like separate and pill up a little bit. So I find these best for like one of those like glowy cream kind of days. Those are the ones I find the best, but this one right here is awful. Like I can't figure out how to use this. It bunches up, goops up on a brush, bunches up, goops up on a beauty blender, bunches up, goops up on your fingers. Like this one I just like can't figure out how to like apply this without it looking like a disaster. And this one is like such a pretty color, which is just kind of disappointing. I only have one thing for like the eye category, which is this Wet n Wild Wild Lash mascara. I think this is like a really beautiful, like it's a really nice brush. You know, no issues. It does keep my lashes really nice and separated, really add some like darkness to them. I just don't think it's like anything wowing. It's not anything super special. This is a pretty expensive mascara. You know, you can get better ones at the drugstore, I feel. So I don't think this is terrible. Like it's not like it did nothing for my lashes. I think it did add some like added benefits of just keeping them really nice and separated, adding some slight length, absolutely no volumization, definitely making them darker. So I feel like, you know, there's some benefits to this, but it's not one I would rush out to like repurchase again. You know, it doesn't like top some of my drugstore ones that I can get for much cheaper, but I do think it's a decent mascara. Probably one of the best ones that come from Urban Decay. So now we have some powder products. The first powder product to talk about is this e.l.f. Powder foundation. Okay, so I had tried out like the powder foundation from ColourPop, and I really like that. I don't think this is a bad powder foundation by any means. I don't think they have like near the shade range that ColourPop did. And also, this has horrendous fallout. It is it's terrible. Like, the fallout's terrible when you dip your brush in. Like, let me, like, do you see that? Just to get a little bit on your brush, you know. Does provide some, like, you know, coverage. I'm not saying, you know, it doesn't. It definitely does. I just don't think it's as good as, like, the ColourPop one in terms of, like, shades and coverage and how well it works with my dry skin. But it's not terrible either. Like, I will use this for a powder foundation, and I will use this to, you know, go on top of products, or, you know, things like that to set the face. Especially if I have something that's really light coverage and I want to set the face and add a little bit more coverage. This is fantastic, but the fallout's really bad on this. Like, it's atrocious. Last up in the powder complexion products are these from Give Me Glow. These are their loose, like, little highlighters. I bought 4 of them. They said that they were going to discontinue these, so I bought all the shades that I thought would work for my skin tone. We've got Baby Doll, which is a pink. We've got Glazed, which is a champagne. We've got Warm Lights, which is like a light gold. And we've got Moonlight, which is like a icy silver kind of color. I really do like these. It is a very pigmented type of highlighter. Like, it will add, let's just like see if I can add just like a little bit. Okay, so here we go. Like, as you can tell, like, it just adds so much like highlight and shine to the face. It is beautiful, and I don't find it overly emphasizes my textures either. It is a little bit glittery, so one of the 2 issues that I really have with it is that it can get really glittery, and then it's kind of a mess because it's like a sifter, but there's no way to like stop the sifter. Like, do you see how much is in there already? And it just kind of gets everywhere. So that's like one of the reasons why I really dislike them. Just like the mess and the glitteriness, but is a very beautiful highlight. So the last makeup category we have, and it's a long one, it's a big one, is lip products. I have lip products galore. So first things first is this Patrick Ta Plumping lip gloss. I don't think this is necessarily bad. I don't find that it's super plumping at all, and I don't know if I'm the only one that's experienced this, if it's just me, but I kind of find that, like, it kind of fades away really quickly. Like, if I'm talking a lot, I find that, like, it just kind of fades after like 30 minutes of like me talking, and I'm just kind of like, I kind of wish I had more staying power. But it is like very nice. It does, like, when you do put it on though, I don't feel like it makes your lips look bigger because of like the plumping cinnamon effect that it has. I think it's because it just makes your lips like so juicy and hydrated that they just look bigger. And I really do appreciate that. I don't want something painful for my lips to have to look bigger. I really like being able to put like this on and my lips just really having that plump and shine. Next up are the Give Me Glow glosses. These are really nice. What I like is Give Me Glow has like tons of different shades, and they all like have like color to them, and I feel like their glosses have pretty good opaqueness. Like, here's this gloss right here, like, it's definitely like very opaque, and so that's one thing that I really do like about that, is they have like 60 something lip gloss shades. You know, you've got some clear ones, you've got ones with sparkle, you've got ones that are just like colors, and so I really like that. So if you are ever somebody where you're just like, you have a lip liner and you just want to go over with a gloss that maybe has a little bit more opacity, Give Me Glow is that person. It's gonna be that brand. It is so good. It's just not like my all-time favorite gloss formula. The Lunar Beauties are. So like, these are close seconds. I'm not gonna lie, these are really good, especially for like the opaqueness, but it's just not as good as my Lunar Beauty. So that's just why it kind of falls into the Roundup category, the middle of the road category. Next for lips are going to be these Natasha Denona lip glosses and lipsticks. So first of all, I love the magnetic packaging of these. Absolutely love this. These are supposed to be newer formulas. I will say they are, you know, they're pretty decently pigmented. I do find that they kind of pull on my lips a little bit, but they are really nice and creamy. I'm just not like the biggest fan of like lipsticks right now. I'm just kind of fading out of like the lipsticks. I'm either wearing like a liquid lipstick or like a gloss or something like that. So, you know, for these being as expensive as they are, because they're expensive. These expensive. You know, I'm just not like reaching for them as much. And then for the glosses, I think that like they're decent glosses. You know, they have some slight pigmentation. They are comfortable on the lips, but again, they're just like not one of my like top favorite gloss formulas. I have other glosses I like more than these. Lunar Beauty, Give Me Glow. I think that they're nice, but they are really expensive. Like I can get those other brands are markedly cheaper than these, but they're not bad. Like if you're a Natasha Denona stan, I think that they're good. The pigmentation is there. They have really good colors, different shade ranges, things like that. So, you know, definitely something to look into. They're not terrible. I just like others better. Okay, so next up we're going to come from like the Colored Rain collection, the Botanical collection. So first things first is we have like these lip liners. I think the lip liners are very nice and creamy. They're very pigmented. They stay in place for a considerable amount of time. The one thing that I don't like about these though is that like the tip just doesn't stay, hold on. The tip just doesn't stay overly pointed. So I find it sometimes more difficult to like line my lips, and it comes with like a little sharpener, but I feel like at the end, which is nice, but I feel like I'm constantly having to sharpen them like halfway through like the bottom of my lip, and then, you know, and then finish and sharpen, half sharpen, the other half sharpen. So I just don't really like that aspect of it. It's not something my favorite. I feel like I like more sharpenable, like wooden kind of ones, or ones that are, you know, a little bit more, keep their shape a little bit more. So, you know, they're really good though. I mean, they're creamy and nice. It's just they don't keep their shape very well. Then we have like these lipsticks. Their lipsticks are beautiful, by the way. Like, look at that color. It is so beautiful. They're very, very, again, nice and pigmented. They're very nice and creamy. They're comfortable on the lips. I'm just not at a lipstick stage right now. I was for a while where I really liked lipsticks, and then like, you know, lipsticks with glosses or just lipsticks and whatever. But I think right now that I've found like really comfortable liquid lipstick formulas, I'm just kind of going with those, or doing a liner and like a nice gloss or something, you know, like I'm just not going overboard with lipsticks. They do have liquid lipsticks, that are in here. They're nice liquid lipsticks. They're not as good as like my Give Me Glow or my Lunar Beauty. They do kind of feel a little bit more drying than those two, but they're not bad. They're very opaque. They're not like ungodly uncomfortable or anything. I can just notice the dryness of it a little bit more than I can on those other two brands. So I don't think these are bad. I just don't think that they're favorites either. And then the last one is going to be the gloss from there. It's a clear gloss. I think this is a good gloss. I think it's a decent gloss. Again, it's not, you know, a revolutionary gloss formula or anything like that. So this, like, these are all the lip products from that Colored Rain collection. I think they're decent. They're just not blowing me out of the water. Last up from the lip category, we're going to talk about Jaclyn Hill. So first off, we're going to start with this lip cushion in One and Only. You know, I think it's decent. This is definitely not my favorite lip product from her by any means. It's just like okay, like as you can tell, it just like doesn't go on super well. But the reason why it's just like not a fail, because it's kind of close to being a fail, is I just like how it's almost like it's almost like I had a popsicle or something. Like it's not like overly like bam bright like in your face. Like I just like to like put it on and like dab it out with my finger, and it just looks just like my lips, like I just ate a popsicle or something like that. So I really, really do like it. But this lip cushion, and it's really comfortable. Like I don't have like, it doesn't feel heavy or anything. I just don't care for like how it applies. Like see how well like this looks, and then this, it just doesn't apply like as good. Last up is Jaclyn came out with like some bold colors from her her like lip liners and liquid lipsticks, and so I've got those in here. I actually really do like her lip liners. These probably could like easily be like a favorite, truthfully. It's these like liquid lipsticks. Here's the thing with these. These are almost bordering on fail because they are very, very drying and very heavy. You will need something on underneath your lips. You will need either like a balm, you will need a chapstick, you will need something to like hydrate underneath your lips, like put something on as you're doing the rest of your makeup and then leave it there. Don't rub it off like you would with other products. Just like leave it there and then go over on top. I feel like that helps them. But I don't want to put those in the fail just because they are so ungodly uncomfortable. Because when I need a liquid lipstick to stay, not smear when I'm drinking, not, you know, move all over the place while I'm talking, not, you know, wear away quickly, I am reaching for these. If I need something that is going to last and is going to stay, I am reaching for these. And what I really, really like about Jaclyn's formula, or I guess it's not really formula, like range, is there's such a wide range of colors. So that she's released a whole nude line. Now we've got some bold colors. So there's something in there for everyone and every occasion that you would need a liquid lipstick to last. So that's why it's not a favorite. It's not a fail. It's really just like right in the middle of the road. It's heavy. You will need to put something on underneath, but boy, will these last. Last things to talk about is tools, and I literally only have like one thing of tools to talk about. This is the Mickey Mouse and Morphe brush set. Again, Morphe brushes aren't terrible. It came with 6. I also really like the little container that they all come in. I think that's really nice. So, you know, I don't think that these are necessarily, they're not awful brushes by any means. They're not terrible brushes, but I just don't care that much for Morphe quality brushes now that I've tried a couple other brush sets from other brands that kind of survive like the washing process a little bit better and things like that. So although cute, I love Disney. It's not a favorite. I think they're decent. Whew, all right. Wow, that is everything from last month's monthly roundup, where we talk about all the makeup that wasn't a favorite, wasn't a fail, wasn't a palette, and just kind of what my thoughts are on them. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about any of these products. Let me know if you agree, disagree. Let me know all of that down below. If you have not yet hit that subscribe button, absolutely go ahead and do so. I do these monthly. If you enjoyed it, you're definitely going to want to give this a thumbs up. This helps me out. This helps YouTube let you know that you enjoyed this type of content. That is it for today's video. I hope that you all enjoyed. I will see you all in my next one. Bye!